Welcome to Bias Bash. I'm Lauren Green. Baltimore is recovering after a night of rioting and looting that gained nationwide media attention. Officials are telling the press the lawlessness that broke out after the funeral of a black man who died of injuries apparently suffered in police custody would not be repeated. Here with how the media is covering this story is Justin Duckham, senior Washington correspondent for Talk Radio News Service. Welcome, Justin.
Great to be here.
So how is the media covering this story? Is it focused on the violence or focused on the reasons, or how are they really covering it?
I think we're seeing sort of a predictable, pattern from the media that we've seen every time we have a situation like this. Those on the left in the sort of blogosphere world are saying that the rioters are getting too much attention, the looters are getting too much of a focus, and that, we're not really paying too much attention to the people who may be there peacefully protesting, the clergy in the streets and whatnot. And, of course, on the right, we are seeing that there are accusations that the media is playing this too politically sensitive. They're, having PC concerns. They're, trying not to portray this simply as, thugs taking what, basically they want in this terrible fashion. And somewhere, of course, in the middle is the reality for this. And I think the media is going to have to examine what exactly is going on in Baltimore and take a look at the deeper cultural roots that are going on there and the larger issues. This is a city that if you have even a passing acquaintance with, it's not in top form. You know that it's dilapidated. You know that it's suffering from urban decay to a large extent. And from the people that I've been talking to on the ground, this is something that a lot of people have felt was bound to happen at some point.
We've got the similarities. I mean, I'm old enough to remember that, you studied the civil rights movement and the riots that happened after that. And then so many of these riots, after you sort of just cause events, they just sort of break down into violence. I mean, the perspective on it and the reasons behind it, does the media actually spend time to get at that?
I don't think they do. I think they initially portray the events that occurred for this, and in many cases may sort of spur a lot of attention that arises from this. But I think the deeper reasons behind this isn't really viewed, and I think the media also has an issue of sort of visiting these communities, paying attention to a lot of the violence, and not really paying attention to any of the follow-up. In Ferguson, of course, there is still a lot of people who are sort of struggling with the riots that really disrupted their community, and we haven't seen anybody coming back to that. And I doubt if we're going to have any follow-up in Baltimore to see if anything has really changed in terms of the relations between the police and its people, or just the basic economic issues. Yeah,
one of the things that I've noticed, though, in these kinds of latest riots is that, years past, the looters and the rioters, they kind of let the media have a pass, the journalists, because the journalists were telling their story. I get the sense that the journalists are actually in fear as well, because they're targets as well. Do you see that as well or not?
They are. We've seen a number of reporters attacked, including some members from the Daily Caller. This is something that the press at large should step up on. We have a media infrastructure for, coming out in condemnation of people who are arrested overseas, people who are, hurt in these kind of events while reporting in foreign lands. And there really needs to be a similar response here for those who are hurt while covering, a really important story here within the U.S.
All right. Thank you so much, Justin.
Thank you.
And if you want to hear more media analysis on this topic, catch Media Buzz with Howard Kurtz, Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern and again at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.